It is the 12th day of December 2022, and yes, it is another beautiful day to bring you the newspaper review here on TAP TV. My name is Cyril Aloysius, and I'm super excited to bring to you the best of newspaper headlines across the nation. Mr. Victor Siokul is the person once again to do justice with me to the papers. Mr. Victor, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, and just before we go straight to the business of the day, we'll take a quick look into the world of sports. Okay, Mr. Victor, have you been following up the World Cup so far?
Yes.
Yes, and lots of surprise results so far. Has this World Cup been shocking to you, the results?
Yes, for Africa, I never knew that Morocco will be the team that will get to the semi-finals of the World Cup.
And it seems to me like Morocco are the dark horses in this tournament. Don't you think so?
Sure, but I also think that it might just be time that their luck might just run out.
Because of France, right?
Yes.
So, I want to ask this question. What if they shock the world and then beat France?
Man, it will be exciting from the African point of view, okay?
Yeah.
But there's also something now that is happening. Okay? They are now calling the media, the international media, are now calling them more of Arab nation than an African nation. Are you getting that? So, don't mind me that I'm coming from this angle, but it is what it is, because Western Africans and their alike, the Southern Africans and co, want them to be called Africans, okay? But somehow you find out that the Arabs are also really embracing them because they are also an Arab nation. So if you also check out, you find out that in the stadium, they have more fans because the World Cup is being hosted by an Arab station or an Arab nation. So you find out that, yeah, there's a bit of clamoring whether to call them an Arab nation or an African nation.
So the fact that the World Cup is hosted by an Arab nation, you felt that was actually like a morale booster for them to go all the way?
Definitely. And if you check, that might just be a reason why a country like Saudi Arabia could beat Argentina. You get
behind.
From behind.
Wow.
So you find out that, yes, no matter how we see it too, just like in the Premier League or other international league, when you're at home, you gain more confidence. And I think that is also working out for these guys.
All right, I think that's enough now for sports, because that's not the reason why we are here today. We are here to look at the papers, and then we'll be starting today with ThisDay newspaper, where we have some interesting headlines. This one says, "You can't bully free press. You can't bully free press. Silence media. ThisDay Arise editors tell Alake Onanuga. You can't bully free press. Silence media. ThisDay Arise editors tell Alake Onanuga." All right. Another interesting headline in ThisDay says, Tinubu, "I will be president of all Nigerians, fair and just." That's Tinubu saying, "I will be president of all Nigerians, fair and just." Atiku is articulating bold-faced lies, says APC. "Come clean on your source of wealth," ex-vice president tells former Lagos governor. Northern group urges Nigerians not to return ruling party to power. Okay. Another interesting headline in ThisDay on page 48 here says, Autumn PDP failing to take advantage of crisis to make party stronger. That's Autumn saying on page 48 of ThisDay, PDP failing to take advantage of crisis to make party stronger. Okay, on page 5 of ThisDay, on page 6, I beg your pardon, Atiku condemns killing of young Deborah Samuel for alleged blasphemy. Atiku condemns killing of young Deborah Samuel for alleged blasphemy. Okay, that's on page 6 of ThisDay. And lastly, on ThisDay, we have NLNG's year-to-date gas delivery gap dropped to 1.3 billion CF due to feedstock supply constraints. Okay, that's the much we can take in ThisDay newspaper. Mr. Victor, which of these headlines would you like to react to?
Okay, I would like to react about the free speech headline, talking about Alake and Onanuga.
Okay, you can't bully free press. Okay.
Yes, they're going on Arise TV and ThisDay. Okay, their sister station, which is their sister company, which is ThisDay. So now, what happened? You find out over the weeks, we've had a calls of the Arise group coming out to talk about Tinubu and his campaign team, not them sending out an invitation, especially the last debate that happened, then sending out an invitation, and the Tinubus were not available. So even at a time, the Tinubus also had to send in will I say, will I call it some points that they raised, that if those points are not being met, that they will not attend any form of debate. Okay. Now, but while the days are just going by, you find out that the Tinubu campaign team, which has media consultants as with the names of Alake and Onanoga, going hard on channels the more. So what did they also do? It allegedly reported that one of the Arise news presenter in the name of Rufai Oseni, that they, as in the Tinubu team, had to call Chief Ndoka, who happens to be the CEO or the chairman of the group, of the Arise ThisDay group. Okay. They had to call him to tell him to sack Oseni because of his style of journalism. Okay, now I really have an issue with this. You ask me why. Now, these men are supposed to be in their 60s. Okay. Mr. Siri, could you believe these are the same set of men when they were much younger, they fought the Abacha junta. And now, at their old age, they do not want free speech to reign supreme.
It's more like a dictatorship kind of government.
Yes. So that brings me to my insinuations about you being an elder in Nigeria. You being an elder, they take it that, oh, I'm old enough to assert my views on people. Forgetting that you can be wrong as an elder.
I mean, you're human, so why can't you be wrong?
Yes, you can be wrong as an elder. Why don't you allow people to do their journalism free in a free space? Okay.
Does it seem more like intimidation?
No. Oh, sure. And if you take a look at it, why would you guys as a group of journalists, you know that there are code of conduct in these practices. Okay. Why are you now coming out to fight your own brother? Reason, if you ask me, it is because of money. Because at the end of the day, you cannot tell me that they are not being paid for their job.
Okay.
I mean the Tinubu presidential campaign team.
Okay.
Okay. They are being paid for their job, and many a times you find out that people lose their mind, especially when it comes to politics. They lose their mind, they lose their job ethics,
a sense of reasoning,
just so that they can please the one paying the bills. So at this point,
just so that they could show that they are loyal.
Yes. So at this point, I just begin to wonder, why will it be that you are being asked a question as a media team for a particular candidate, instead of you to go out there and release statements countering any point that you think that these guys have made that doesn't favor you?
Okay.
So I think they should go back to their drawing board and go and have a deep thought about what journalism is, and go and think back on the past, on how they have been as journalists, how they have been running these affairs. Are you getting me?
Okay.
So they should go. They should just stop. Why would you be canvassing to sack somebody because of what? Because the style of journalism does not suit you.
Favor you, yeah.
So just like Rufai responded, he said that, see, they have brought P2B, and he has been very critical. He has been asking P2B some tough questions, and I'm very aware about that. And if you ask me, the likes of Tinubu, the likes of Atiku, I'll be surprised if they have been asked same sort of question, whether they will respond in a good manner or they will feel insulted as elders that they are.
But if a person actually has clear conscience, if I'm a candidate for an office, a political office, and I have clear conscience about the office I'm contesting for, and I'm being questioned in a debate, shouldn't I, in a bid to, at least I have clear conscience, do my possible best to see how I can answer the questions without sounding insulting or making it look like, because if you ask me, I would say such a thing actually puts a big question mark on whether or not you have genuine intentions for Nigerians come next year's election.
And let us also not forget that this same tactics was what the current president also played. They never wanted to be open to the media. Okay, so the Tinubu faction, not faction, the Tinubu camp are trying to also use this medium. In as much as they will tell you, they've gone to the UK to meet with the BBC, they went to the Chatham House and all that. My brother, those guys out there are not the ones voting. They should come down to where the business is happening, to Nigerians in Nigeria, and come and answer these questions that is being posed upon them.
Okay, just before we go straight to our next paper, we'll go on a short break. And when we return, more headlines coming your way. Please stay tuned.
Now that you have registered for your PVC, it doesn't stop there. Ensure you pick up your PVC. Be alert. Join many Nigerians to vote credible leaders that will change the tide of this nation. Do not sell your vote. Remember, this is our future. Your vote is your voice.
This message is proudly brought to you by Thav Media Limited.
You are welcome back from that short break. Going straight now to the Daily Sun newspaper. We have here, this one says, Tinubu, Atiku fight dirty. Tinubu, Atiku fight dirty. He will destroy Nigeria, APC candidate warns. You are not fit to rule, says PDP candidate. That's on page 6 of the Daily Sun. On page 46, we have retaining presidency in the north is bad as Muslim tickets, according to Wike on page 46. On page 47, we have PDP crisis, not war, but misunderstanding. Tambawal tells Autumn, PDP crisis, not war, but misunderstanding. Tambawal tells Autumn, that on page 47. On page 47 again, we have Boko Haram. There is no forest in Sambisa, according to Atiku. On page 47, Boko Haram, there is no forest in Sambisa. That's Atiku saying on page 47. On page 5, we have attack on police. Enugu CP orders personnel to remain in barracks. Attacks on police. Enugu CP orders personnel to remain in barracks. That's on page 5. Okay. On page 5, we have, on page 5 again, we have NDLEA arrest Brazil returnee with parcels of cocaine in baby food at Lagos airport. NDLEA arrest Brazil returnee with parcels of cocaine in baby food at Lagos airport. That's on page 5. And lastly, on the Daily Sun today, we have page 47 again. No going back on Obi. According to Middle Belt Forum, no going back on Obi, according to Middle Belt Forum. Obasanjo, Debanjo, Obi extol Umodo at 70. Okay, that's on page 47 of Daily Sun. That's the much we can take in Daily Sun for today. Mr. Victor, which of these headlines would you like to react to, please?
I would like to talk about the trading of words. Words by Tinubu and Atiku. Okay, so what is happening? The Tinubu Presidential Campaign Council are saying that Atiku is not fit and that he's too desperate to become a president. Okay. So they are coming from the part of that he has been trying, that he's just too desperate. His own is just to get Nigerians to vote for him and him becoming the president. Okay.
What if he has genuine intentions?
Yeah, you said what if. Okay. Yeah. Still on what if. But let me tell you, the Atiku faction responded, and they responded, will I say, on a hot note. Okay. What did they say? They reminded the Tinubu that in 2018, that he mentioned that he was richer than Osun State. That he should come out and let Nigerians know
the source
the true source of his money. Reason, and if I can do this small, what I say, analysis, little analysis. Let me keep the analysis. That in 1989, Tinubu is reported that Tinubu was paid $2,400 as salary while working with Mobile International. So what did I say? He was paid $2,400 as monthly salaries.
Okay.
But mind you, that same 1989, Atiku has developed Intels. Intels has already become a company doing logistical work for both private sector and the government. With respect to the offshore and onshore business, he has been doing some logistics jobs. Not until the company now grew and they now had the Prodeco, they now have the Atiku farms. You now even have the American Institute that Atiku owns, the university. But that aside, but they are now also saying, see, for Tinubu in 1989, like I mentioned, he was earning $2,400. But in 1990, it was accounted that he got over $600,000 in his account in 1990.
Wow.
And in 1991, it was recorded that $1.2 million was received with his personal account. Then you ask, how did it just happen? If you go a bit further, the PDP are saying or reporting that Tinubu does not have his name in any CAC document. More so, that he also is saying that he is not a government contractor. That the same Tinubu, during a night, the eve before the first administration of the Buhari regime, that a bullion van was spotted in his house. So the questions are now, aside politics, how have you made your money? Okay? So these are questions that are being thrown to him. And when they are thrown to Tinubu, unfortunately, his media people get angry and they start going hot on journalists, just like what has happened with the Arise News that we just talked about. Why don't you come to the table and explain to people
how you make your money,
on how you made this money? So as it stands, yeah, the question is still up in the air, and I also do not expect them to come out now because of the tactics that they've been using. They might just go hard and quash all those reports. So, but yes, that is the politics of Nigeria for you.
Yeah, they can quash the reports, but they can't, should I say, take away the fact that those questions have been thrown out and they have refused to answer them. And of course, Nigerians have taken note of the facts that they have bluntly refused to answer them. So, in the manner with which they refuse to answer, it will tell Nigerians a lot of things about their intention, their real intention for the country. Don't you think so?
Well, I think so. And if you also check, this has been the norm in Nigerian politics, whereby you see the so-called person calling himself poor becomes rich overnight because of what the person has tasted power. I don't need to shy away from it. I know some person might be like, I'm against Tinubu and all that. This is not just about Tinubu. If you bring it down to even the River State, if you bring it down to Delta State, bring it down. Which state do you want to mention? Is it Abia State that the governor was a lecturer in Abia State University? And you cannot go back and check his wealth between back then and now. If it's not by politics or being in government, these people will not have these monies. Let's face the fact. You will not be building all these mansions. How much are you being paid at the end of the day as governor? You cannot compare it with an international staff of a company in Nigeria. You cannot compare it. But these guys, by the time they've tested power for 8 years, they went down to ordinary commissioner. An ordinary commissioner will have hotels, big giant hotels. I just be wondering, is it just through salary? No. We are Nigerians. We know how these people are making their monies. You cannot shy away from the facts, Mr. Siri. So, it is what it is, man.
All right. It is what it is. Just before we call it a day now, we'll go look at our last paper for the day, which is the Nigerian News Direct. Here we have some other interesting headlines. This one here on page 23 says NNPC to supply 8,000 crude oil barrels per day in 5 years. NNPC to supply 8,000 crude oil barrels per day in 5 years. Okay, that's on page 23 of the Nigerian News Direct. On page 2, we have infrastructure. Recommendations for getting Nigeria out of poverty already being addressed, according to Fashola. Infrastructure. Recommendations for getting Nigeria out of poverty already being addressed. That's according to Fashola on page 2 of the Nigerian News Direct. On page 13 of the Nigerian News Direct, we have vessel acquisition. Vessel acquisition. Buhari approves disbursement of cabotage vessels financing fund. Buhari approves disbursement of cabotage vessel financing fund. Okay, that's on page 13 of the Nigerian News Direct. Another interesting headline in the Nigerian News Direct here is on page 22. This one says 2023 Tinubu Shettima ticket best deal for Nigeria. Tinubu Shettima ticket best deal for Nigeria, according to Governor Abiodun. That's on page 22. On page 22 again, we have Serap gives Okowa, Wike and others 7 days to disclose spending of 625 billion naira refunds. Serap gives Okowa, Wike, others 7 days to disclose spending of 625 billion naira refunds. Okay, that's on page 22 again of the Nigerian News Direct. And lastly, in the Nigerian News Direct, we have on page 14, so it says Q3 2022, Zenith Bank, UBA, 4 others report 22.1% increase in PBT to 663.5 billion naira. Okay, that's the much we can take in the Nigerian News Direct for today. You want more details of the headlines, get a copy of this paper and the rest for yourself. Mr. Victor, which of these headlines interest you, please?
Okay, I'd love to talk about the setup, giving these people ultimatum to respond to the 13%, yeah, the 13% derivative that is supposed to be awarded, that is being awarded to oil producing states in Nigeria. So SERAP, that's the social economic accountability project. These are cases that they love handling. Okay, so they've come out to say, see, this 625 billion, right? The 625 billion. Yeah, the 625 billion has been awarded to you guys by the government. What have you been using these monies for? And mind you, just like we say, when these monies come in, and they are many a times they are not being budgeted for. But so when this money comes in, the governors of these states, if they are not being watched, they misuse these funds. Okay. So what are these oil states? We are talking about Abia State. We're talking about Ondo. We're talking about Delta, Rivers, and Akwa Ibom. Okay, now, why are they mentioning these particular top names here? Because when you mention oil-producing states, due to the capacity that they have or the level of production they make, the more production you make, the more funds you get from the 13% share. Now, places like Akwa Ibom, Rivers, and and Akwa Ibom, Rivers, and Bayelsa have almost 100 billion, almost 100. I mean, when you're talking about, I think Bayelsa is about 90-something billion, so that's why I just kept it at the average of 100 billion each that has been given. So they need to make account of these monies, because like I said, many a times, these monies do not get down to the projects they tend to tell you they use these monies for. And it also goes down for more education and enlightening, to tell people out there, see, yes, one might say, okay, if you go by the records that Abia State, states like Abia State, Imo, they are around 5 billion, okay? And when you compare 5 billion to 100 billion, you find out that this is a whole lot of money. Yes, I also understand that some persons out there might be equating this state as same. Please, this is the data here for us, telling you that, see, there's a big gap between the funds being collected by Abia State and Rivers State. Now, that does not also mean that these states do not have other avenues to even make more money than this 13% derivative. But unfortunately, our governors are very lazy. Our governors have clogs of, will I say, spider webs on their brains that they cannot even think outside the box to say, okay, see, this and these are the things our states are known for. How can we generate revenue? Not just sitting down and waiting for these monies to hit their accounts before they do projects. Well, these ones that have been given to you, Serap is now telling you, see, even the 5 billion that has been allocated to you, what have you used these monies for? Well, I don't know whether they will respond in a good manner, just like what we talked in the first time with the first news. Will they come and now attack Serap? Man, we don't know. But these are the things we've been clamoring as citizens of this nation. We need to hold our governors, our leaders accountable. So let's see how it goes.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor, for sharing your thoughts with us on the program today. I really appreciate, and I also appreciate you, my wonderful viewers who have been faithful to your screen up until this time. Thank you so much, because without you, we would not be here. But unfortunately, this is the end of the newspaper review for today. My name is Cyril Aloysius, and I'm super excited to have been the one to, bring to your doorstep some interesting newspaper headlines today. Thank you so much, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't, and of course follow us on our different social media platforms. Check us out on YouTube, we are TAF TV on YouTube, on Instagram, we are TAF TV_NG, on Facebook, we are TAF TV, and on Twitter, we are TAF TV. And also don't forget to turn on your notification bells after subscribing, so you get notified when we come online and drop our new videos. Until I come your way again next time, do enjoy the rest of your day. It's bye for now.